I'm pretty certain that this is a boy's item of clothing. But we're gonna go with it because you know what? Gender stereotypes are wrong and I want to break down those boundaries. Hello beautiful people, welcome to Monday's video. If you remember rightly, last week I made a video which was things I hate / things that annoy me about Facebook, so I thought it was only fair to then do things that annoy me about Twitter. Even though I love Twitter, a lot of things and people on it do annoy me a hell of a lot and I can't deal with them, so I'm going to talk to you about that today. So this is things that annoy me about Twitter. The first thing that annoys me on Twitter is also something that I really like, which is hashtags. I love a good hashtag in the right circumstances. I have friends who I don't follow on Twitter, people who are actually my best friends in real life. I don't follow them on Twitter because the way they use Twitter annoys the f*** out of me. They will tweet something and then they will follow this tweet using 5 hashtags about something completely pointless. In my opinion, the only reason you should use hashtags is when you're taking part in something or when it's completely necessary to use a hashtag, not every single tweet. This whole thing is just going to be me talking about how people use Twitter wrong. Now the second thing that annoys me is something that people do to try to be nice but I really can't stand it, which is when people do follow Friday. I will follow someone if they have the same interests as me, or if they follow me and I'm like, okay, this looks like a sane person who could possibly hold a conversation. I'm like, okay, I'll follow them. Not because you decided to put hashtag FF in front and then put their name. That literally, why? Now the third thing that annoys me is when people quote a tweet yet add nothing to it. For example, if I come up with like a really witty, funny tweet, which does sometimes happen, you might not think that, but it actually does. Someone will see that and be like, funny tweet. So instead of just retweeting it, they then copy that tweet, put quotes around it and tweet it. If you enjoyed it that much, just retweet it. Now another thing that annoys me is when people threaten to unfollow a large group of people unless you do this certain thing. For example, people will be like, oh, I'm going on a huge unfollowing spree in a minute unless you retweet this tweet. No. Why should I have to do that? You clearly followed me for a reason. If you're just gonna unfollow me, then what was the point in following me in the first place? Like, I don't care if you unfollow me, like one person is not going to make a huge difference to my life, I'll just unfollow you. Like, it really doesn't matter to me. Another thing that annoys me is when people tweet their horoscopes. Really? Why do I need to know your horoscope? Your horoscope, you should read, like, I don't believe in horoscopes, but if you believe in horoscopes, read your horoscope. Do not tweet it. No one needs to see this every day, like what Gemini is doing today. Wow, that's great. Like, I'm not a Gemini, why do I need to know? Another thing that annoys me is big accounts. If someone has like over 10,000 followers and they're not a celebrity, they instantly think they're more important than people who have like 10 followers. No one is more important than anyone on Twitter unless you have a verified tick, in my opinion. Therefore, you have a special part of Twitter which the rest of us don't have, which means your Twitter is more important to the world. Just because you're a fan account with like 100,000 followers does not mean that you have the right to not reply to other fans. If someone tweets me, I'm going to reply to them, no matter how many followers I get. It's common courtesy, it's just a nice thing to do. If someone tweets you, you tweet back. To be fair, we're all doing the same thing, we're all sat by ourselves on our computers. Just why can't we do it together rather than you thinking you are suddenly more important? Now another thing that annoys me, this is like a huge thing at the moment, it's the whole indirect, retweet for an indirect. There's literally nothing I would like less than someone talking about me when I can't see it. Like, why do you want to be indirected? Why is that something that people aspire to have? I understand retweet for a mention or retweet for a direct message or something like that, like then you actually get some kind of human interaction. However, a retweet for an indirect, why? Stop. Now the last thing that annoys me is when people follow a big bunch of people, wait for all these people to follow them back and then unfollow them as soon as they do. Just because you want to seem like you're more important than everyone else and you're not. Your Twitter account is no more special than anyone else's, you're just being a dick. So that's a list of things I don't like about Twitter. I'm not telling you how to use Twitter, you're probably going to carry on using it the way you want to anyway. It annoys me when people tell other people how to use Twitter, so I basically just annoyed myself, but I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. That would be lovely of you. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you on Friday. I hope you have a good week. Goodbye. Buy it! I'm just getting angrier and angrier. I'm like turning into a bitter old woman and I'm only 19.